Sculpting Sunday, and today we are doing a sim that is based on a character very near and dear to my heart. We are doing Sidney Prescott from the Scream series. Now, Scream is probably the first horror series that I was really, involved in. It's the first series that came out, when I was a kid versus series that had already been out and that I had watched. It was the first one that was of my generation. It was something that was new, that hadn't really been done before. Friday the 13th, Chucky, all of those had been out, and I did watch them. I was a horror kid growing up. I had watched Chucky when I was, I think, 3, because that's just what happened. Right, wrong, or otherwise, we're not going to discuss that. That's just what happened. I really wasn't honestly afraid of it. I don't remember being afraid of any horror movies. The only horror movie that ever terrified me, and honestly still kind of scares me to this day, is this movie that came out in the 80s called Dolls. And it specifically terrified me because when I was really little, I had a gigantic collection of Cabbage Patch dolls and also some porcelain dolls. And so I was 3 years old and watching the dolls come to life and splatter movie, kill people. It was an 80s movie. Obviously the blood was the bright red, and I was not having it. I was not here for it. The place that we lived had a Jack and Jill bathroom, and so I had one porcelain doll in my bedroom, and so I took the porcelain doll and I put it in the bathroom, and I locked my side of the Jack and Jill bathroom. And obviously part of this is cobbled together from what people have told me and what we figured out throughout the years. I remember putting the doll in the bathroom, but I obviously don't remember details because it's been a minute. And I remember being so afraid because the doll kept ending up back in my bedroom. Obviously, I was not logically figuring out that there was another door to the bathroom and that my mom was coming into the bathroom and going, "Why is there a doll on the floor?" and putting it back in my room. Wasn't picking that up. And then because I was an only child and we lived in a 3-bedroom house, and I was also exceptionally naughty, so I had 2 bedrooms. I had my sleeping room that had no toys or anything in it whatsoever, and that's also where I had to go when I was bad. And I had my toy room, which was where all the dolls were. And I started being afraid to go in the doll room, and I wanted my mom to lock it, and I made them get rid of all of the dolls because I was just so convinced that they were coming to life and they were going to murder everybody. To this day, I had my college roommate watch it, and she was actually a little unnerved by it as well. It's a very uncomfortable movie. And I think just because people inherently have a fear of dolls, that even though it's not a well-made movie, it taps into that very specific fear, and if you are in any way, shape, or form afraid of dolls, and a lot of people are, if you take people to a swap meet or an antique store, and there's a even vaguely weird looking doll, and you pick it up and just show it to someone, most people, 90% of people, put that down, it's haunted. Not that I do this to people, I would never do such a thing. I am a kind and benevolent human being. If I did do it, it would be in the name of the science, and therefore totally excusable. But yeah, so that's that. That is my tangent. But Sidney Prescott, she's obviously one of my favorite final girls, simply because she was the first final girl that I felt belonged to my generation, so to speak. But I've always really liked Neve Campbell anyways, and in light of recent news in terms of basically the series giving her the finger and saying, you are the face of the series, you are the backbone, but we're not going to pay you what you are worth, and her saying, well, then I'm not going to do another movie, I felt it only fitting, even though it's summer, that I was going to go ahead and create this sim now. I've thought about before doing during Halloween, making some of these sims, especially final girls, because they have a very special place in my heart, but I wanted to go ahead and do this now because when I heard of the news, initially I was surprised, and I was honestly waiting to see if they would backpedal, because sometimes that happens, especially when news gets out what they did. Negotiations continue or start again because they're oh, people are real mad at us, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But it looks like they are following through. Sidney Prescott is no more in the Scream series. I don't know quite how that's going to work out, but hey, whatever floats their boat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna see a Scream movie without Sidney Prescott in it. I could see if they had started a trilogy and she hadn't been in it already, like, fine, that makes sense. But the fact that she was already in it and they hadn't, like, killed her off, it's not like a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of thing where they brought back the prior final girl and then killed her and she passed the torch to the new final girl. Like, this is just literally, yeah, we know that she literally created the series more or less, like, she's the face, but we're cheap and we're awful human beings. Okay, they're probably not awful human beings, but, like, allegedly they could be. You don't know. I don't know. Also, I had the worst time with her jaw. It's also, a lot of the photos of her when she's younger, her mouth is open, and that was driving me nuts because I couldn't get, like, a proper face. And also, I almost used this lipstick just because 90s lipstick was very matte and very intense, it seemed like, but I didn't. But it would, if there was ever a moment for a Maxis match lipstick, it would have been then. But I did not. Yeah, her jaw though, her jaw was hard, as well as her lips, just because her mouth was always kind of open and parted. And I thought about just leaning into that and being like, fine, I'm gonna leave her mouth open, but I didn't. I also didn't have an appropriate hair. I ended up using the one she's wearing now. I go for a bit, but I knew I didn't have, like, those wispy 90s bangs. I knew I didn't have them because I don't like them. It's nothing personal. I didn't like them then. I don't like them now. Naughty kitten, don't do that. Sorry, Richard is newly fascinated with the pull on my blinds. He didn't realize they were there, and then today he's realized they're there, so we get scolded slightly. He's actually super thrilled that we have returned, and I'm just glad nothing got destroyed. He did break a glass, but that's because I didn't realize it was in the windowsill. I've tried to cat-proof the house as best I can, but there's things that, like, I don't know they're there until it's already too late. I'm like, why was there glass in the sunroom, in the windowsill, of all places? Because, like, as someone who's owned cats for years, like, that is where the cat is gonna go immediately. They're gonna go sit in the sun because they can stare out the window, look at the birds in the tree, look at the butterflies and all everything else that's going on out there, and sit in the sun. That's where they're gonna go. But yeah, so that was the only mishap that happened while we were gone for a week. I'm not sure what's gonna happen when we're gone for my summer vacation, but we'll see. It's funny, Mom's like, why don't you just take them with you? And I'm like, because literally, my cats hate car rides. Hate them. I've tried everything to make them, like, somewhat like them. No, they scream the entire time. Entire time. They just don't enjoy car rides. They don't. So I'm not gonna put them through that. Like, I'm just gonna let them be taken care of. And the only reason we're gonna be gone for so long is because both families simultaneously picked the exact same time period, but, like, back to back. I don't know how that happened. They don't know each other. So I don't know how they did that, but it's basically 2 weeks in one place and 2 weeks in the other. Totally on accident, but there you are. This is just me looking for outfits. I wanted to do the denim on denim, but, like, I knew I didn't have the right jeans, so then I was looking for, like, a dress maybe that, like, gave the 90s feel. I don't have a ton of modern CC. I'm slowly rebuilding the folder because a couple years ago I just went ahead and deleted it. I had a whole modern folder and I'm like, you're never gonna go back to, like, I used to play this neighborhood called Oddly Island. I played it for years, but then I got into the medieval stuff really, really heavily and I'm like, you're never gonna play Oddly Island again because it got corrupted, rebuilt it a few times. I deleted the file and I regret it immediately, or not immediately, I've regretted it, and so I'm still rebuilding for my Uberhood, but I just don't have the CC that I really needed for this sim, but I think she's alright. I like how she turned out, even though I'm still not happy with her jaw. But it's hard to get the jaw right when her mouth is open all the time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know who your favorite final girl is. Obviously, as simmers, we run the gamut in terms of age, but I'm always curious to see who's your favorite, if you like horror movies or you don't. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like, and I will see you in the next one.